Morning, everyone. Guys, please remember you need to wear your uniform. Remember, okay? Now, our last, just I think, yes. Yesterday we start talking about the different system. Basically, we are going to focus only in three systems. The three systems are the traditional, the market, and the command. We spoke a little bit about the traditional and also talk about the command. And today we're going to finish our class talking about the market economy, okay? Anyway, just to remind you guys, Christopher Bermúdez is here. Christopher Bermúdez. He was absent yesterday. Just to remind you, remember, the class is Introduction to Economic Systems. You need to complete the vocabularies. I think there are only 4 words in that vocabulary, and also complete the assessment. The assessment, okay? Question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Over here is the PowerPoint. We are using it. It's loaded up already. And also, this is the document that you need to use in order to support to answer all these questions over here. If you wanna use the help of internet, you may use it in order to complete your answers. Okay, so let's write into today's class. Economics here. Let's begin away. We're talking about this one, market economy. Here it is. Ramos Julia just arrived. Ramos, where are you? Ramos. Here it is. Done. Now, where is it? Here? Oh my God. Here. So market economy is the third system of economy, okay? The third type of economic system. Market economy is based on individual choice. Remember, in command, the government is the one who decides what to produce, how to produce, and to whom to produce all these services or goods. Okay, now the government over here is not involved. In other words, the system is the systems consumers and producers drive the economy. These are the ones who decide what to do in this type of government. I don't really think that they do it on their own. Anyway, I think the government always have to be involved in this kind of transaction. But anyway, the government doesn't really involve directly. It's only a helper or try to support all the deals that are done between the consumers and the producer. Consumers are free to spend their money if they have, of course. If they don't have money, that's the problem. If we compare this one with the command they provide you. Now over here, you have to work and get your own money, spend their own money as they wish. To enter into business or to sell their labor or whomever they want. Producers decide what goods or services they will offer. They make choice about how to use their limited resources to earn the most of money possible. They have to administrate the resources that they have in order to get as much as money as they can, the most of the money possible, like he says over here. Now, Adam Smith, remember, Adam Smith is the father of the modern economy, and he wrote over here in this, The Wealth of Nations, that's the Bible of the modern economy, in 1776. When you make economic decisions, you act in your self-interest, a tu propio interés definitivamente. But you are led by an invisible hand, tú estás dirigido o llevado por una mano invisible, to promote the interest of others. Now, that's everything. Don't worry, I have another video that try to complete what we just studied regarding the market economy. Now, over here in this chapter, it goes back to try to go into deeper about the traditional economy. This is a characteristic of traditional economies. The one great advantage of a traditional economy is that it so clearly answers the three economics questions. Why? A traditional society produces what best ensure its survival, and they have been doing this since the beginning uh, of their tribe or their community that that manage this type of economic system. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. The method of production are the same as they have always been. System of distribution are also determined by customs and tradition. In a traditional economy, then there is little disagreement over economic goals and roles. Why? Because they know what to do and they have been doing this since the beginning of their ages or from generation to generation. So there's no disagreements. On the other hand, traditional economies resist changes. Ellos no quieren cambiar. They want to keep the same thing as always. Therefore, they are less productive than they might be if they adopt new approaches. Further, what tradition defines roles eliminate conflicts. Ellos definen así que no hay conflicto. They also provide people from doing the jobs they want to do or are best suited to do. Now, under pressure to change. Now, this is pressure to this type of economic system, the traditional. Let's see why. Around the world, traditional economics are under pressure from the force of change. Why? Because everything has been changing. Internet, cell phone, tablet, everything. Now, for instance, the Kavango people of Namibia, that's in Africa, in Southern Africa, for example, have lived as subsistence farms for centuries. Esa es agricultura de subsistencia. Subsistence farm grow just enough to feed their own families. Solamente lo necesario es lo que producen. That's it. Modern telecommunications, however, have bombarded the Kavango with images of the world beyond their homelands. Ellos ya están viendo que más allá hay algo más importante, más interesante, más moderno. As a result, many young Kavangos want some more than the life of subsistence farming. Thousands have left their homeland for the cities. Even the old way of farming are beginning to change. Eso mismo está sucediendo aquí si nos vamos a la región de... Si nosotros, chicos, nos vamos para la región de los Nové Buglé, o si nos vamos para la región de los Kunas, ustedes pueden ver que acá en la ciudad hay muchos jóvenes Kunas que han decidido mejor venirse para acá y tratar de vivir una mejor vida que la que tienen allá. Inclusive también los nobles, por acá uno puede observar eso. Lastimosamente que al final muchos van a querer venir para acá y entonces solamente los ancianos, los viejos van a permanecer en sus regiones y eventualmente la cultura, esa cultura muy importante que le pertenece al país va a desaparecer. Lastimosamente es así, pero así es la vida, todo cambia. Okay, now okay, some pictures about the Kavango. Miren el penthouse de los Kavangos en Nairobi. Este es el penthouse igualito al que está por acá, por San Miguelito, por allá por la 9 de enero. No sé si usted conoce dónde queda la 9 de enero. Mire las rocas, así mismo pasa aquí. Así mismo, si se meten por la 9 de enero, van a encontrar casitas, bueno, no tanto así, pero sí, por lo menos el techo, el signo, lo sostienen esto, ¿ves? Las rocas. Y de repente viene un vendaval y se lleva techo y quedan a la intemperie, lastimosamente. Pero bueno, son gente humilde, pobre. No tienen los recursos para poder. Como esta familia por allá, los Kavangos. La manera como ellos pescan, tradicional, como siempre se ha hecho. Y aquí no hay tractor. They don't use, ay, a la vida, ¿cómo se dice tractor? Tractor. Ok, para trabajar la tierra. Solo usan 2 bueyes para el arado. Bien. Okidoki. Once again, please, I need you to complete all the assessment. Ignore this information. We are going to do this eventually, but not now. Okay, don't worry about this information that is in blue. Now let's go back and finish the class watching two videos that has to be about the market economy and the traditional. Now let's begin with this one with the market economy, and they're going to explain us a little bit more and go into deeper to this type of market economic, okay?
Today we're going to be talking about a market economy. Make sure you've checked out my other videos on a traditional economy, a mixed economy, and a command economy. There's also some more on capitalism, socialism, and communism. Those will all be important for you to understand. Now, let's figure out what a market economy is and how it answers the three basic economic questions. Now, while watching the video, make sure to use your guided notes. You can find them in the description below. I create the guided notes for each video. They go along with the video, and they're there to help you remember all the important things. That way, when you have your quiz or test, you know all the stuff. And if you need a review, you can just look at your notes. So a market economy is where businesses and individuals, our consumers, they make up all of the decisions. They are the ones that are going to answer our three basic economic questions. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about that, check out my video on the three economic questions. You can click on the top right now and view that video. Then come back to this one. But consumers and businesses, they will answer the what, the how, and for whom. They're in charge. The government will not play a role in here. This is where we'll have a free market or laissez-faire. In this market, supply and demand is key. This is where it'll be determined of what prices are, what we should produce, and for those people who want to try to go against the grain, they have the opportunity to, and maybe they'll succeed or they'll fail. Now, there's a bunch of different things that happen in this type of an economy. Ultimately, what's occurring is consumers vote with their dollars. When they go and purchase things, it tells the economy what they want, and then businesses react. The businesses that can't keep up and the businesses that don't react fast enough, well, then they fail. Now, we're going to get into some of the advantages and disadvantages, and there's a lot here. This is one of the economies you probably have heard a lot of over the past couple of years, especially going through high school. So let's figure out right now what the advantages are and disadvantages are to a market economy. Now, a market economy has a lot of advantages and disadvantages. Some of the advantages for a market economy is there is a high degree of consumer satisfaction, of just in general, people get what they want to buy. And there's a lot of individual freedom that occurs in a market economy. Businesses get to decide what they want to produce, how they want to produce it, and for whom. And over time, the economy can adjust to a lot of different changes, especially the small ones. The day-to-day changes, it does a very good job adapting to. An example here is when you look at gas prices. When we see gas prices for a couple of years consecutively be lower, we will start to see an increase for bigger cars and SUVs and trucks. Because gas prices are lower, people have more money, they'll start buying there. However, when gas prices go up for a while and it appears like they're going to continuously go up, we'll start to see higher sales of smart cars and fuel-efficient cars. In fact, factories will shift their resources to produce more smaller vehicles when gas prices are higher because they can sell more vehicles, and they want to make sure that they meet the demand. Supply and demand is what determines prices and what is produced, and that can be great. All of this individual freedom lets people be able to react immediately. They don't have to wait for a large bureaucracy to decide anything. There's very little government interference, and people get to make their own decisions. And so we see people happy, and we also see a lot of production being made. And innovation takes off in this economy. There's nothing to slow you down. You are the driver of your own freedom and destination, you could say. You get to determine what happens. While a market economy might seem great, there's also a lot of disadvantages as well. This is one of the types of economies that doesn't provide basic needs for everyone. There's a lot of uncertainty that is in a market economy, both for business and for the individual. It's hard, and a lot of people fail in this type of an economy. Now, the other thing that it doesn't do a good job with is providing services. It actually has a horrible time at providing certain ones. It won't make sense. And this is normally where we'll see the government step in. Things like the military, roads, water, electricity, that is normally where the government comes in because there isn't enough economic incentive for the private business to take over. And we'll kind of debate about that and talk about that more in class. But that's one of the areas that it struggles with. Another issue that the market economy has is it is susceptible to failure. If three things aren't met, it can collapse. One of them is consumers have to be knowledgeable. They have to have an understanding of what's available to them. Same thing with businesses. They have to know who they're hiring. They have to know information so they can make the best decisions. The other one is resources have to be able to be moved. You can't have it where a company could lock down an area and say, well, this is our road. We're going to block everyone else out. No one gets to bring in raw materials to build anything. It wouldn't work then. There has to be, and this is the third one, competition as well. We have to have a competitive market where supply and demand is functioning correctly. And we'll get into the debate of what the government should do with this. Some say laissez-faire, government hands off, don't touch it at all. Others say we need to have more government interaction and intervention. And that is a debate for another time, and we will get to it. So hang in there. But hopefully right now you can see some of the disadvantages and advantages. Now, for those economic questions again, I kind of stated it earlier, but just to make sure you understand, a market economy, the three basic economic questions are answered by the people living in the society. Everyone gets to decide what to produce, how to produce it, and for whom. It's up to you to make your own decisions. And that's one of the big benefits to this economy. And that's it. That's a market economy.
Stop right there and let's watch the traditional economy, and that's gonna be the last video, guys.
Good evening, night, whenever you're watching this, welcome to the Mr. Sin channel. Today we're going to be talking about a traditional economy. Now I'm also going to have a video for a command economy, a market economy, and a mixed economy. There'll also be some for capitalism and communism and socialism. So make sure to check those videos out. Now enough talking, let's figure out what a traditional economy is and how life is like in it. Interested. Now, if you've seen my videos before, you've heard this speech, but take out the guided notes. You can find them in the description below. The guided notes go along with the video, and they do help. They're made for you to make sure that you understand all the important information. And when you need to go back and study, you don't have to rewatch the whole video. You can just use your notes. So take out your notes, and let's figure out now what a traditional economy is. A traditional economy is centered around the idea that as a society, you will just keep doing what you have in the past. Passing down of cultures and traditions is key. All economic questions, including the allocation of scarce resources, is determined by elders and what had been done in the past. Really, the individual doesn't have a lot of freedom in this type of economy. They're going to just do what has been done before them. If you were born into a family who's a farmer, well, you're going to be a farmer. And if this is how they tilled the land, well, that's how you will till the land. There's not a lot of room for innovation or change. You'll continue to do what people before you have done. Now, this economy is often practiced in rural communities and tribal life, and it still exists today. But this is a traditional economy. Every economic system needs to answer the three basic economic questions. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out my video on the three economic questions. You can click the card in the top right and view it. Then come back to this one and you can see exactly what's happening with those. A traditional economy is actually pretty simple how they decide to answer them. The first one of what to produce, well, it's based on tradition. So if you're born again into a family of farmers, well, you're farming. If you're born into fishermen, well, you will fish. There isn't a lot of leeway there. You're going to do what people in your family have always done. And that solves the what to produce. Now, for the how to produce, again, you will go off tradition. So however it had been done in the past, that's what you will do. And for whom, you won't have to worry about that question either because society has already determined, especially in smaller communities and rural life, normally you're providing then for everyone in the society. Everyone has a specific task. Now, some of the advantages to a traditional economy is there isn't a lot of uncertainty. You know exactly what you're going to do, and that can be refreshing. It's less stressful, you'll have a little bit more free time, and you don't have to worry about as many things. On the other side, though, the disadvantage is we see stagnation occur. We start to see things level off. We don't see an improved standard of living. We don't see innovation. In fact, people who have new ideas or are different from others are discouraged and almost pushed out of society. They are rejected. It is unacceptable to go against the status quo. And so these can be big issues that really cause a society and this economic system to stall out and continue to stay the same instead of progressing and creating more economic growth and a higher standard of living and a better life for everyone. Now, as you can see, a traditional economy, there is some pros, but there's also a lot of disadvantages. Life is completely dictated by tradition. Elders have a lot of power, and really the individual has little to none. Make sure you understand what a traditional economy is, how it answers the 3 basic economic questions, and what are some of the disadvantages and advantages. I'm Mr. Sin. Hopefully this video helped you better understand what a traditional economy is. Don't forget to check out my other videos on the other economies. And until next time, I'll see you online. Thank you for stopping by.
We live in strange times.
Right here, guys. Remember, I want you to complete the vocabulary that belongs to this chapter and also the assessment question. Why? Because eventually I'm gonna ask for it. So it's better you have it already done in your notebook, guys, okay? Do you have any question? Doubt? Suggestion? Nothing? Okay. If we don't have any question, it's 8:55. I'm gonna give you this 5 extra minutes for you to do whatever you want. And remember, at 9:15 you have another class. So please wash your hand, behave, try to help at home, help your mom, your dad, try to keep your bedroom clean and in order. Okie dokie? Okay, enjoy your weekend, guys, and see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Roger.
I teach.
Bye-bye.